Have you ever watched a soap bubble float gently into the air, shimmering with colors, and wondered why it always forms a perfect sphere instead of a cube or a pyramid? At first glance, it might seem like a simple, even trivial observation, but there is profound wisdom hidden in that delicate, fragile orb. Life, like a soap bubble, has a tendency to find its most natural, efficient form, and understanding why can reveal insights about the world, about nature, and even about ourselves. Richard Feynman, a man who saw wonder in everything from quantum particles to the everyday phenomena around us, would often remind us that curiosity is the key to seeing the extraordinary in the ordinary. The bubble's spherical shape is not random. It is a reflection of nature's constant striving toward minimal energy, toward balance, toward simplicity. Every molecule on the surface of that bubble pulls and tugs on its neighbors, seeking to minimize tension and spread evenly, and in doing so, they create the smooth, symmetrical shape that we recognize. This is not just physics, it is philosophy in motion. It is a reminder that even in chaos, patterns emerge, and beauty arises from the pursuit of equilibrium. When we pause to truly observe, we realize that these principles are mirrored in every corner of our lives, from the ways ecosystems self-regulate to the ways human innovation seeks the path of least resistance. The elegance of a soap bubble reflects the elegance of logic, of understanding, of clarity, and in that clarity lies power. Feynman would tell us that to know a thing deeply is not just to see it, but to appreciate it, to marvel at its hidden rules and its unspoken perfection. And so, when you witness a bubble rising and falling, remember that its journey is more than visual delight. It is a lesson in patience, in attention, and in respect for the forces that shape the world. Just as a scientist studies the universe with rigorous curiosity, we too can observe our lives, our decisions, and our aspirations, seeking patterns, recognizing energy, and learning how to minimize conflict while maximizing harmony. This moment, fleeting as the bubble itself, is a mirror to our potential, if we allow ourselves to learn from it. Curiosity, patience, and attention are not merely traits for the scientist. They are tools for anyone who wishes to understand the deeper mechanics of reality. Life rewards those who notice the subtle forces at play, those who ask questions others overlook, and those who dare to see the extraordinary in what seems ordinary. And here, in the fleeting, fragile, yet perfect sphere of a soap bubble, we find the first lesson, that even the simplest phenomenon holds profound truths for those willing to look, and in understanding them, we find inspiration to navigate the complexities of our own lives. The bubble is small, delicate, and temporary, yet it contains a universe of wisdom for anyone with eyes to see and a mind willing to wonder. But here is where the story becomes even more remarkable, where the simplicity of a bubble opens the door to mysteries that challenge the mind and expand the imagination. Imagine for a moment that you could peer into the microscopic world of the bubble's surface. You would see molecules locked in a delicate dance, each one pushing and pulling, yet always yielding to a collective purpose far greater than any individual motion. It is mesmerizing, almost like watching a society that knows instinctively how to survive, adapt, and thrive. And yet, for all its elegance, this surface is precarious. A single gust of wind, a tiny disturbance, a subtle flaw, and the entire sphere can collapse, disappearing in an instant. It is in that tension between perfection and fragility that we find a profound lesson, one that Richard Feynman might have smiled at. The universe is not only beautiful, it is unpredictable, and understanding comes not from controlling it, but from observing and learning from it. Consider the physics behind it. Surface tension is striving to minimize energy, to achieve the lowest possible state, and yet it does so in a context full of forces beyond its control. The bubble cannot fight the wind, cannot resist the touch, cannot postpone its inevitable end. And yet, in that fleeting existence, it achieves a form of perfection that human hands cannot replicate. Life mirrors this phenomenon more closely than we often realize. We plan, we strive, we chase our goals, yet so much remains outside our control. There are currents in our careers, relationships, and personal growth that we cannot always predict or manipulate. And yet, if we focus on the principles that are within our grasp, clarity, discipline, curiosity, patience, we can shape our lives with elegance, just as the bubble shapes itself according to natural laws. The suspense of the unknown, the tension between effort and outcome, is not something to fear, but something to embrace. It is where real discovery happens. It is where the most profound insights are born, and it is where the beauty of existence is most apparent. By observing how a soap bubble maintains its perfect sphere even under subtle pressures, we learn to appreciate the delicate balance between striving and surrendering, between action and acceptance. Feynman's brilliance was in noticing these patterns everywhere, from the atomic to the cosmic scale, and reminding us that wisdom often comes from the smallest details, the phenomena we might otherwise dismiss. Every moment carries within it lessons about efficiency, resilience, and harmony. The suspense lies not only in whether the bubble will survive the next gust, but in realizing that the forces shaping it are mirrored in every aspect of our lives. The fragility is a teacher, the impermanence a guide, and the perfection a call to attention, urging us to act, to learn, and to marvel while we can. If we watch closely, we see that even in uncertainty and fleeting beauty, there is structure, there is purpose, and there is opportunity to grow. It is this balance, the dance between order and chaos, control and surrender, that forms the heartbeat of existence and the essence of true wisdom. And now, as we reach the final reflection, consider the broader lessons that a simple soap bubble can teach us, lessons that transcend science and enter the realm of personal growth, philosophy, and even our deepest ambitions. Just as the molecules of a bubble instinctively seek the most harmonious arrangement, we too have the capacity to align ourselves with the natural flow of the world, to reduce the friction in our lives, and to focus our energy on what truly matters. Richard Feynman often reminded us that curiosity is the gateway to understanding, and by observing phenomena like a bubble's perfect sphere, we can cultivate a mindset that turns ordinary moments into profound insights. Every challenge we encounter, every obstacle that threatens to burst our bubble of stability, carries within it the potential to teach us resilience, patience, and creativity. We may not be able to control every gust of wind or every unpredictable event, yet we can choose how we respond, how we adapt, and how we maintain the integrity of our own lives under pressure. The sphere, delicate and fleeting, is a symbol not of fragility alone, but of exquisite balance achieved in the face of uncertainty. Life rewards those who notice the subtle forces at play and who take the time to understand them, those who cultivate awareness, precision, and a willingness to learn from every twist and turn. The same principle that shapes a bubble also shapes innovation, progress, and the human spirit. Engineers designing spacecraft must account for tension, pressure, and minimal energy. Biologists study cell membranes with the same principles. And yet these insights all stem from the same fundamental curiosity that drives humans to explore, question, and seek understanding. There is profound motivation in realizing that the universe operates under consistent principles, and that by aligning ourselves with these principles, we can achieve elegance and efficiency in our own endeavors. A life lived with attention, curiosity, and reflection is a life that mirrors the perfection of the bubble, not in rigidity but in harmony and purpose. And so, when you face uncertainty, when the pressures of life feel overwhelming, remember the bubble rising, fragile yet perfect, shimmering briefly before disappearing. It teaches us to embrace impermanence, to strive for balance, and to recognize that true mastery comes not from force, but from observation, adaptation, and alignment with reality. Each moment is an opportunity to refine our understanding, to cultivate joy and discovery, and to navigate challenges with grace. The beauty of life is that, like the bubble, we are part of a universe governed by patterns, forces, and elegance, and by paying attention, we can find meaning in every fleeting experience. Let curiosity guide you, let awareness shape you, and let every challenge become a teacher. The lessons of a soap bubble are timeless. They remind us that fragility can coexist with perfection, that simplicity can reveal complexity, and that observation is the key to wisdom. If you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.